Is the Alamance County Library System being used as a hub for liberal activism? We'll look at that in just a moment. Well, hello and welcome to Alamance County Talks Politics. On June the 5th, 2023, a member of the Alamance County community, Sean Francis, went before the county commissioners and presented this.
Public slogans are being hung by our library staff on the walls of our county libraries, such as, in a racist society, it is not enough to be non-racist. We must be anti-racist. And how white people can work for racial justice. Or, they can't kill us all. Or, white fragility, followed by a communist definition of the term aimed at shaming anyone who might speak out against this. Or, why is it so hard for white people to talk about racism?
So according to the words that were just spoken, is the library being used as a hub for liberal activism? Here's some of the things that were posted at the library that he's speaking of. The first one is racial equity to the left. The second one is intersectionality. And the third is white fragility. And here's a little closer up picture of the racial equity. And if you notice the second book that is listed, it says they can't kill us all. A new era in America's racial justice movement. And, you know, there he talks about uprooting racism, how white people can work for racial justice. Here's another photo that was taken. It says intersectionality is a lens through which you can see where power comes and collides, where it interlocks and intersects. And so I guess they're talking about the system. They would call this a white supremacist system, and where there's tension, intersectionality. And here's the third, white fragility. Notice it says white fragility is a state in which even a minimum of racial stress becomes intolerable, triggering a range of defensive moves. These behaviors in turn function to reinstate white racist equilibrium, I believe is what it says. It's very hard to, it's sort of difficult to read, but those words there is what appeared in the Alamance County Library under the information section. And so Sean had went and asked who gave the approval for that to be placed in the library, that type of language in such a prominent area. And he was given this answer. He was told the answer came from the director of the Alamance County Libraries. And you can see here, it says the Board of Commissioners meeting held on May the 6th, 2019, they announced Susanna Goldman as the director of the Alamance County Library. So Susanna Goldman was named in 2019 as the director. Now, what I want to do is look at a little bit about Susanna, and notice here, in this Celebrating Women article here, this was from October the 28th, 2021, and I understand things have changed, but what I want to show you is a little bit of a history of why that may have appeared in the library. Notice she's got mobilizing, they put mobilizing literacy in Alamance County. Listen, nobody is against mobilizing literacy, but when you go down here to the bottom, you see that Susanna is a member of the North Carolina Public Library Directors Association. Now, I think she's still a member, but I don't know that she is still on the Directors Association committee. I'm not the website committee. But it also says she's a member of the Alamance County Racial Equity Collaboration. Also for the Habitat for Humanity Women's Build Committee, and a board member of the Alamance Partnership for Children. Now, I'm not saying that people who are part of these committees are all bad, but what I will point out is this. Let's go to the North Carolina Public Library Directors Association first. Let's see their association there. I'm going to click the committee, and notice it is a DEI. This is a DEI statement from them and the North Carolina Library Association. And it's hard to read it, but it says Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee is responsible for exploring ways to support the mission of North Carolina Library Association, particularly as it relates to issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. And it goes also to talk about underrepresented populations. And so we see here that she was part of the, and may still be a member of the North Carolina Library Association. It makes me wonder whether this had an impact on making her decision to put that in the library. Now, we're not against literacy, but you have to really question the wisdom of something like that. What motivated her to do that? What encouraged her to do that? And I would say it's been her training. And part of this is through the North Carolina Library Association. The North Carolina Library Association also has a section that is titled Library Advocacy and Legislation section. In other words, the library is not neutral. It is an advocacy group. So when you think of the library, you no longer need to see it as simply a library. You need to look at the library as an advocacy group. That's if you're a member of the North Carolina Library Association, you're being trained in this way. You're being taught this is the best way to operate a library. This is what you're going to do. And so part of that is the North Carolina Library Association, but it does not stop there. Now we turn our attention to the Impact Alamance County Racial Equity Collaborative. And I want to point out something because I'm going to look at the Impact Alamance. I'm doing another video. I've already done the research on them. I've just got to get the time to put the video together. But notice right here, I don't know if you can read this, but I encourage you to go to the Impact Alamance website. It says Impact Alamance is partnering with NCCJ. Now, I don't know if I've got the NCCJ right here. Let me see if I can put that over here as well. And I want to show you something. Here it is. They also have a DEI. They also have a strong DEI focus. But not only that, the Impact Alamance is associated with the NCCJ. And notice they're saying they're a community of justice, a human relations organization. We work to build community free of bias, bigotry, and racism by promoting understanding. But notice how what they say down here is hard to see this. But notice, I'm going to try to blow this up for you. It says right here, the land we occupy is the ancestral home of many indigenous peoples. So basically, I'm going to this. I'm saying the Impact Alamance uses this type of training to train their own people in this Alamance County Racial Equity Collaborative. Notice it says Impact Alamance is partnering with NCCJ to launch the fifth the fifth Alamance County Racial Equity, which is what they call it. So let's go down here and let's see who took this. You can see here the Alamance County Racial Equity Collaborative past participants, and we can see here that notice here is Susanna Goldman, Alamance County Public Libraries. So there she is taking an Alamance County Racial Equity Collaborative cohort, and I'm just simply pointing out that these groups that many of our county and city employees are associating with are these 501c3s that are interjecting this type of material and mindset into these agencies, into our government. And so you as an individual, as a member of the community of Alamance County, you need to be aware of what's actually taking place. You need to be skeptical of some of these 501c3s and 501c4s. But listen, I'm proud. I will say this. I'm proud of Steve Carter for recommending these names. The Alamance County library system, we do have a committee of a library committee. I think they volunteer. And this was the last this was the last meeting that they voted for the next 3 library committee members who are having a profound impact on the Alamance County Library. Let's listen to Steve Carter. I rarely brag on him, but this is one of those times that I am.
You have before you a recommendation to select 3 candidates from 10 applications that were received for appointment to the library committee. The applicants are technically county representatives, which means the sole criteria is they have to live inside Alamance County anywhere. And the term will be through June 2027.
I'll make a motion that we appoint Jessica Simmons, who's the current chair, Cheryl Sanford, who's a current member, and Paula Hedrick, who's a current member.
Second.
Appoint them.
So that speaking was Susanna Goldman, and then you had Steve Carter bring forth 3 appointments and they were good appointments, and that's what we need. So let me encourage you, if you are around the library, if you visit the library often and you see something out of the ordinary, let me encourage you to take a picture of it. Let me encourage you to send me the images, Alamance County Talks Politics at gmail.com. Anything you send me will be held in the strictest confidentiality. But I do encourage you to pay attention to what's going on in your county. And this is just one area of our county government that I believe is tilting with a liberal bias. Well, this is Alamance County Talks Politics. Until next time, take care.